Hello, everyone. Welcome to the RovingHeights Podcast. For today, I have two interesting guests with me, and we are going to be discussing our top five. Top five. Now, it's not in the order of favorites, but more like in the order of books that we will not take, or books we don't take any criticism for. So, that book that if you see this book, and if you say anything bad about this book, the problem is you, the problem is not me. So I'm just going to allow them to introduce themselves. I'm going to start with favorite Igbo boy. Hi, Uchenna.
Hi everyone, my name is Uchenna and I go by the handle favorite platform. I'm a literary and a lifestyle content creator. I'm happy to have you guys.
We're happy to have you here. Nenye, you can go next.
Hiya. So Emeka has already introduced me now. I'm Nenye, and my Bookstagram handle is Nenye Words and Whatnot. Yes, that's literally what I do on my social media. I just Bookstagram. So
that's nice. And I think that's why I invited you guys on the show, because I like people that engage with books on social media, people that talk about books. It's one of my favorite things. So, Uche, let's start with Nenye. So the idea is like 5 books that you don't take criticism of, or like you don't, when someone says something terrible about them, you're like, oh, the problem is you, it's not the book. So, but maybe we can start with 2 first, then we'll circle back for the rest.
Okay. I think I have to just add a disclaimer, because I think books are very, very subjective. Like at the end of the day, and I have divested from telling people that it is them and not the book. Like I have transcended that. But books that I would defend like with all my life, like off the top of my head, because I'm going to try to pick books that have some controversy around them, right? Because it's only then that they would elicit like any such conversation about, oh, like it's you, it's not the book, or it's the book and it's not you. So the first one is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Like, I don't even want to hear anything. That's my best Adichie book. And whatever anybody has to say about the protagonist, Ifemelu, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything about Ifemelu and Obinze. Like, that is love. I don't want to hear anything. And the second book I would defend is Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. And mostly because like a lot of people think, oh, it's so slow, it goes on and on. The author was just being like the writing is too flowery, and it was he was being I don't know, fake or whatever. Like I don't even want to hear it. The book is tender, it's beautiful, it's poetic, like it's just an amazing debut. That's all I have to say.
Well, I actually agree with Americana. I think it's also my favorite Adichie book, and there's so many layers to Americana that every day, every trial is going to stand tall. And there's this scene where Obinze's wife says, "Is it because you're having acrobatic sex that you think you're going to?" It has been on my head since I read that book. I've not read Open Water, but I have Small Worlds.
That's a shame. That you have not read Open Water is a shame.
Please.
I've not read it too.
It's shame on both of you. You should fix it and fix it soon.
I am actually going to fix it. I plan on, especially because the book was written with a second person point of view. So yeah. I just know that it's the kind of book that I would like. But I've been seeing so many mixed reviews. People are like, oh, the author is trying to, there's so much language, there's no story. I'm just like, I feel like I'm going to
first. I think writers would enjoy it if you like this deconstructing books and like structure and how like authors play around like style, like if you're very invested in how people have like unique styles and how that presents in like different kinds of prose, like you would really enjoy it. I also think it's really brilliant that if you leave me, I will go on and on about Open Water, so you actually need to stop me. I think it's very brilliant that it's second person, like writing that shines in second person. It's not very often like you find authors doing that and doing it well. And I don't care if it's only my opinion. It's not only my opinion. It's a really good book. It's a short book. it's really poignant, it's profound. Like the story is profound, and you should
we
read
have
it.
it. We have it
Both
at Roving Heights.
should.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
And
So
if you're
okay.
when you're listening, read it, order it, and read it.
Uche, let's go over to you. So, what are like the top 2 out of your 5?
The first on my list, this actually like a difficult thing for me because 5 books. Well, the first for me is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins. That book, I can't even remember that book, but I just knew one of my all-time favorites, and I loved everything the book represented. It tells the story about a Hollywood star, Evelyn Hugo, telling her biography from her background to her journey on becoming a star, her rising to fame, she is, and where she was at that moment in the book. And it was in that book, so I don't want to give spoilers, but I personally enjoyed that book because I could take some lessons from Evelyn Hugo's story. And some of them were like how to be passionate about your goal, putting yourself first, not minding what others would say or feel. How you have to go extra mile at some point for people you love and stuff like that. And how to also stand up to your own faults, mistake, owning your regrets, and not letting it like to weigh you down. Those kind of a thing, like to forgive yourself and just move on. So I really, really enjoyed the book, the quest story in the book and everything. So that's like one of my forever favorite. And the next I have, the second, I would say is The First Woman by Jennifer. Not a book, was everything. Normally, anything that Jennifer Makumbi writes, it's a if it's not 5-star, it is 4.5-star. I don't want it. And I love the retelling of feminism and so those are like my.
Man, so let's circle back to you.
All right.
Okay, before we get to you, I think for me, the top 2 that I would say like, if anything so I think it's Vagabonds and Glory. Vagabonds and Glory. So these 2 books are like very heavy on I want to say language because you've read Vagabonds and you know how Vagabonds is now, even the authority and it cover. But Glory, on the other hand, is just like Noviolets is like, you people cannot tell me what to write. People cannot tell me how to use the English language. So she just like does anything she wants with language. I don't know if you've read it at all.
I haven't, but it's been recommended to me a lot, and I plan on reading it.
So she's like in the book, she does this thing where so the book is about animals, basically. Like, they are referred to, politicians are referred to with a crooked name, these ones are referred to this with this name, all those kind of things. But you will just be reading, that it's about animals, but it's also not about animals. Like, the book just blew my mind. When I read it, I was like, I can't believe this didn't win the Booker, but it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize.
I'm looking forward to reading it. And I totally see why you picked Vagabonds too. And I would always defend Vagabonds, even though, like I said, my disclaimer stands for every book. Like, I think books are highly subjective, but I would always stand in to defend Vagabonds because what Elosa did with the book is nothing short of genius. It's so brilliant. It's like, it's one of those books that you like always return to just study how she wrote the book and how she does. Like, I'm in awe of how she even like conceived the story in the first place. Like,
yeah. And I was too, and I asked her in the email interview that is on our blog. I think she said that it's been a long time coming. It was more listening, listening to the story itself, and then telling it. It's really good. So what are the next on your list?
So the next on my list would be, so this is in no particular order, I have to say. The next on my list would be Transcendent Kingdom by Gyasi. So here's the thing with Transcendent Kingdom and why it is that it's on this list. Her debut book, Homegoing, is like everybody's fave. And everybody was expecting her to write a sophomore book that would toe that same line, something that would be very deeply rooted in her Ghanaian heritage, which Transcendent Kingdom is, but I probably explore the same subject matter or something in that line, which authors are like want to do when they write like sophomore books. But with Transcendent Kingdom, she did something entirely different. Like the book is so scientific and yet very literary. Like it's so that book is so brilliant. Like I could go on and on. I remember exactly how I felt the first time I read it. I remember like all of the emotions that the book elicited from me. Like the book is amazing. It's about Gifty. She's this Ghanaian girl who's a researcher. I've forgotten what exactly she was studying, but she was studying, no, I've forgotten her field of study, the exact branch of science, but she was studying something about addiction because her brother lost his life from heroin overdose. And the story just follows how like her family through her eyes, her parents' marriage, losing her brother, her mother, everything about her Ghanaian heritage and how they now live where they live. I think in the US or in the UK, I can't even remember now. But like the book is so good. It's so good. And people try to say, oh, it's so boring and it drags on, but it's incredibly brilliant. And I don't want to hear any criticism on it.
I actually have it. I actually have the book. It's one of those books I'm like, when am I going to enter like this Gyasi era? Where yeah. So it's just I just know that I'm going to like it. I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm just taking my precious time.
Have you read Homegoing?
I read Homegoing first.
No, it's Nnaemeka, I'm asking. Yeah, I read. Okay. Sorry, I didn't remember my review. I was saying that the book was like I didn't know what to expect, but I was due to have read her previous debut book, and I gave it 5 stars. Like I really really loved it. I think I was expecting something along that line, and it was something entirely different that I got when I read the book.
Is it when you read Transcendent Kingdom or when you read?
Yeah, Transcendent Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
It's entirely different from what it is
exactly
in Homegoing, and that's to me that's why it is even more brilliant.
Oh,
and it's a risk as well because you don't want people that love your first book to not like your second book, yeah.
Because
your first book has sort of like created a sort of like an audience, so they have an idea of what to expect. You going completely different in the second book is a huge risk, but I think it paid off.
But I actually like it. Like looking at, because I just remembered Akweke's books too, that what I love about their books and their writing is how the range, like they are very unapologetic in whatever story they want to write. They will just, and you just see. So I was looking at it from that aspect. So when I read Transcendent Kingdom, so it's actually nice.
I even got it wrong. I read Transcendent Kingdom first. I reid the sophomore book first. But I still appreciate. I really loved Homegoing too. Both books are 5-star books, in my opinion. Like it's a testament to the prowess of an author if they can explore different subject matters and like excel at it. In this, like I don't think writers should be boxed into like some genre or some or certain plot lines. Like if they can do it and they can excel at it, like why not? I really like this one. I haven't seen writing like that. Books that are explored from like a scientific point of view. I've not seen writing like that in fiction. Like I've not experienced it apart from Transcendent Kingdom. I haven't read another book that's like it's a research work, but it's fiction.
Yeah.
In recent times, like none that comes to mind right now. None that comes to mind right now. So like it was really, really brilliant.
So what about you? The third book on your list?
The third book would be, I would go with the Invisible Life of Adichie. That book, I think that book was my first read for this year. Yes, and so the 5/5 star. That book was so good. I went to that book like without knowing. See, I was just smiling. I went to that book without knowing what to expect, but I knew it was a fantasy read, and it's a historical fantasy, magical realism, romance, and interweaving between the present and the past like that. And I really, really did loved it. I really did enjoyed it. The author did like a very good work in the way she told the whole story. Everything was just on point. It was given. And that's my third book.
I think the negative thing I've seen about that book is that people are saying that there's like so many words, so little plot. But I think that's also something that is subjective. And there's something I actually believe. I think that how we as readers interpret a book is very much dependent on our own personal experiences. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely, I
Yeah.
agree.
yeah.
Yes,
So I
yes,
think
yes.
the impression or how we view the characters is in likeness to how we would act in their situation. So that's sort of like, so sometimes when I see people talk about their favorite books, it sort of just gives me like this huge insight into them as a person, as opposed to even the book itself. It's more about, the person's the general idea of that person and who that person is as as a human being or something. But I
Yeah,
saw
I
I saw
agree.
a TikTok video about this book, and I was like, okay, maybe I should actually step into my fantasy era again and pick up this book. So, but I think I will read it. I will read it before the year runs out. It's in my immediate TBR now. Before the year runs out, I will read it. I think for me, the third book on my list would be Don't Cry for Me. And the
Mm.
reason I
Oh
love
my
that.
God.
I've been meaning to read this
Oh,
one.
no, you have not
Jesus.
read it. Hey,
No, I
Jesus.
haven't. I
Ah,
don't have a
Biko, just
copy. I have it on my script, but I want to get like a physical
read the
copy.
physical copy. Okay.
I think I'll find out if we still have copies. So the book, why I like it is that it's written in form of letters, so it's epistolary fiction, but
Mm-hmm.
it's from a point of view that we don't get often. So the book is from a father that is trying to make things right with his gay son,
Yeah.
and there's a line in the book that says the world changed faster than I could. So it basically is, the father telling his history from the time of slavery, to post-slavery and what men were expected to be at that time. And then his son now came to change everything. He wept at beautiful things. He cried at the beauty of things. It was and when you talk about language, authors that do justice to language as well as plot, I think Daniel Black is one of them. I've not read any of his other books, but with just that book, I'm like, you have me completely sold. Like anytime I come across his next book, I'm definitely going to buy. So yeah, when people say I've not seen much negative things. I think what people were complaining about that book is like, oh, we need a point of view from the son.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, that was my own listen to. Like, I wanted to. I wish I could get a POV from the son's perspective. That's what I wanted. But aside that, that book was exceptionally good.
yeah, but I don't think it matters that we get from the son because it's just going to change the narrative. The narrative is this is things from my own perspective. This is how I see the world in black and white, in blue or red, in yellow. So we're just trying to see from the father's from the father's perspective, because it's something that is lacking in like the world today. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of stories that is told from the son's narrative and all of that. But so then what's the fourth book on your list?
My fourth book would be Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis Ben.
Ah.
Yeah. So
Ah.
the biggest criticism about why did both of you say
No, I said no. I mean, I was like, oh,
the biggest criticism about this book is that they were all bad women and they cannot root for anybody in the book and they are all just terrible characters and blah blah blah. I don't think it is. I don't think a book having unlikable characters it makes the book irredeemable or like makes the book bad. Like some characters are written exactly that way. If somebody can write something to elicit that kind of emotion from you, come on, how can you say the book is bad? So, like, the book chronicles the story of a mother and two daughters in Jamaica, and all of the experiences from colorism to like class politics, and there's also a coming of age story with the younger one, and there's mother-daughter relationships and parental wounds and abuse, and like it's such a complex full story, and it's a debut book.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. Like women are written so wholly in the book, and I really like that Nicole Dennis Wen has picked that as her, like that's her forte, that's where she shines, writing working class women, writing them in like the full glory of their humanity, being bad, making mistakes, doing some good things, being selfish. Like those are the things that I like to see. Like that is true representation for me. And she's writing what she knows, you know. There's also all of the experiences of like a queer person in a society that's not very welcoming or not very accepting of like people and all of the way that they present. So like it's a very it's a book that is very ambitious. It tackles a lot of weighty themes, and it does it really well. So when anybody says anything about, oh, I don't like the mother, I don't like the daughter, I don't want to hear all that. I want to hear you talk about the book, like in a way that shows like the appreciation for what the author has done with that kind of prose. So I don't even listen to any criticism. Everybody's saying everything moots. In fact, any Nicole Dennis banned for me. I don't want to hear it. Keep it to yourself.
I have Patsy that I keep saying I will get to, but it's so big and it's scary. It's just like
it's not big.
Patsy is so good. Patsy is not big. Like yes, the things are not big. They're not more than 400 pages. Are they? Let me check. I have to put them on my shelf. I don't think they are more than 400 pages. Yes,
I keep looking at it. It's almost the same size with a little life, but it's taller. It's taller than a little life.
No, it's not.
It's not
a little life. It's 700 pages. This one is with acknowledgements, 426 pages. Patsy, come on.
Okay. A little life was.
Here Comes the Sun is smaller. Yeah, Here Comes the Sun is smaller. Here Comes the Sun is 349. 349. That's with acknowledgement. So they're not big books.
I think I'll
read them. They are so good.
I'll read Patsy. But this thing you said about characters that people don't like reminded me of Akweke's "You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty," which everyone has a problem with Faye, and it's as if that's used as a yardstick to measure how good or bad the book is, which I don't believe. I believe that we can have characters that we dislike in a book, but it doesn't take away how well the book was properly done.
Yep.
That is what I wish some people knew. I've like this is what I noticed too, that because of the character, they'll be like, I could not relate with the character. The character was too bad.
You don't have to relate with every character.
Before you like a book, you don't have to relate with every character before you actually like a book. I just wish they would look at it from that point of view, and it would be a wonderful experience if they do.
It does help though. Like I see where they are coming from. It helps when you can see yourself in a character. That's why, the thing you said about us judging characters from our own focal point. Like if they are making decisions that we would not make. If somebody's cheating, we're like, oh my goodness, character is so unlikely because that's not the decision I would take. Like we forget. When we're trying to resonate, we put ourselves too much in their shoes, which is why books can make you cry, because you liking an experience you read about, we like yours. Or they make you cry because of you think about that person going through that sadness. Like people are seeing it from like different point of view. I just need people to divest from, if you don't like something, it's not good. Like this character is not you. You're not the one making the decision. Faisal was so annoying for me. Bookstagrammer was so annoying then. Everybody was like, oh, Faye, this so much discourse, moral ramblings about how Faye and this one. Come on. Like
it was.
Let me tell you how bad it was. It was so bad that I thought the writing was shit. Like that was how. Like when of course, the book had a lot of hype. I couldn't even find it here. I had to ask somebody buy it for me from the UK. That was how I was looking for it to read. Let me just even see what is going on. I finally read it, and the writing is so good. It's not my best Akeke. It's not. Like, and I don't even have any favor or whatever. But the writing is really good. And nobody was talking about that. Everybody was going to say this, say that. This one's for Alim, Tim. Oh my goodness. But readers was such an emotional lot. So I'm not mad at it sometimes. It was such an emotional lot.
It's I get it. I get it. So the funny thing about that whole experience is that I see it also in Chika Onigwe's The Middle Daughter. So a lot of people, I think the major problem with The Middle Daughter is like Nani's decisions or Nani's choices. People look at it from their own focal point and like, okay, what would happen that I would not go and open up to my mother and like
I beg to differ because we read this book. I read this book on my own and I read it in a book club. That was not the bulk of people's issue with The Middle Daughter. That was not it though. The issue was Nani's family abandoning Nani. That's literally because it was such a huge plot hole and it did not match. Okay. That was actually my issue with it. That's my biggest issue with The Middle Daughter. The mother. What about you? What's your third book?
My third book. Oh,
yeah.
I think I've mentioned my third book.
Yeah, let's talk. It's after my lunch today. Okay.
We've heard Uche's third book, yeah?
No, we haven't.
Yeah, The Invisible Life of yeah. So I think we're supposed to go to the fourth book now.
What was his Uche, what was your first book? Your first
was Seven
Husbands of
Hugo.
Yeah.
Yes. Sharp. I've talked about my third book already. The Invisible Life.
Yes, The Invisible Life of Audrey. So I think for me, my fourth book would be The Death of Vivek Oji. And I think I quickly did something that has stood the test of time with that book, because it's been 3 years, and I still end up reading it every year, at least once every year. It still has that emotional pull. It still has that nuance. It still has that substance to it. So whenever people say something, I don't even. What's the major criticism?
The relationship between Osita and.
Yes. Okay, yeah, the nature of the relationship. I think that's the major, but I think that's also very intentional on the writer's part.
Yes.
So I don't even consider that.
It's a great pick for this list of books. Actually, if I had more choices, I would pick it. I also defend it too, and also because I know that's Akweke's style. Like I know that the author likes to do things that shocks readers, and especially with the way relationships present in their books. Like in all of their books, something is happening. If there's a relationship that will make you go, that make you go,
you'll be like,
you might be rooting for them too, and you're like, is that am I the problem? Why am I rooting for these people? But like that's their style. That's their style. So I'm not even mad at it, and it's really good writing. It's really, really good writing. That's my best Akweke. Like it's really good writing. Really, really good.
It's my second favorite from Akweke. I think my favorite from Akweke is Descendant.
I've not read Descendant. But like I
love
that book. One. It's a great freshwater.
No. Yes, and freshwater. To be honest, I gave it I think 2 star, 2.5 star.
I've not read. I tried reading it and I DNF'd it a long time ago. Never going to read it.
You people.
It was a struggle. I was sleeping.
No, I'm never going to read it. I'm not even going to.
Okay, so that was the first. That was the first book I read, but I just knew that they have this writing. There's something about it that I love, that I was looking forward to reading the other books, but that particular one, it was like the story was not meant for me. That's what I thought about Freshwater.
So then, what's your fourth book?
Oh, so my fourth book would be, I have when I started thinking about it, I thought I would not have a lot of choices, but like I have a lot of choices. My fourth book would be Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. Yes, that'd be my fourth. That's my fourth book.
I'm looking so close to my heart, Jesus. Oh my God!
The reason why I like that book is because the book does something that like we read a lot of Nigerian books that chronicles like the importance of, or like how the struggle for like getting a child, and the very specific kind of burden it is for the woman in a marriage, like especially in a Nigerian marriage. But Ayobami goes further to do something in that book by making is her name Yejide? By making her yearn. There's this yearning that she writes about, like her wanting to become a mother. That's so palpable. Like it's so strong. You can feel it off the pages. Like that book is really, really special. And I would always defend it, and I will always fight that her husband. He will forever remain an evil bastard.
So I made the conscious decision to start reading Nigerian literature in 2021, and it stayed with me was the first, I think it was one of the first 5 I read. And I was like, why is nobody, I wanted to just carry microphone. I wanted to just go like, okay, you take this one, you take this one, because it was so good. It was, everything about it.
Yeah.
And then that ending, no,
it's really good writing. Like it's really, really good writing.
It's really good writing.
If Ayobami didn't write any other book again, like she doesn't have anything to prove. Like that book is just it. Like, you know, that full stop at the end of like, I have done something. My work is alive and well in the world, and like I have not that is that kind of work. It is perfect. I loved it so much.
I've not started the spell of good things, but I'm sure I'll read it before the year runs out. Since
have you read a spell of good things?
I'm reading it right now with Steph. I'm currently reading it.
Oh, okay.
Uche, you've read it now. Oh yes. I just remember.
Please, no spoilers, please. Let's not discuss it. Let's move on.
No need.
So, Uche, what's your 4th book?
Okay, for me, my 4th book would be that 8 Seconds in This Strange World by Elif Shafak. That book I was like, why did I waited so long to read Shafak's book? Like, why? I just went.
What's the book about?
Okay, so the book is about like a dead woman that was brutally murdered, and her entire life replays in her mind for like 10 minutes, that 8 seconds, her heart stopped, something like that. So like she was able to recall her life using various flavors, various scents and tastes like that to recall her life. Entire life in like 10 minutes, that's 8 seconds. The book was good. There was a lot going. See, there was a lot. Like I don't know. It's first of that historical fiction. There's the deep aspect of romance. There's the thriller. There's the political aspect. There's it was just a lot. And given that I like books that has a lot going on, to be honest, I think I don't know if it's a me problem, but I like that there's a lot going on in it. And this book was just perfect. It was everything. Like I could, at the point, I think I shed tears reading this book because it was so touching. It was beautiful. The friendship. See, like you like the.
I love Elif Shafak. Like I read one Elif Shafak last year. Island of Missing Trees. Although I DNF'd one this year, but that one was entirely because of wrong time.
Yeah, that one. Exactly. I think I wanted to. That 40 Love, right?
40 Rules of Love. I DNF 40 Rules of Love.
I think me too. I wanted to DNF, but I was able to finish it. It was not bad, for me. But these 10 minutes, if I were to recommend, it would be these 10 minutes that 8 seconds in this strange world.
I'll try that.
Yeah, that's my first one. All right.
Okay. Now I have a lot of books to read. Oh my God. Okay. So I think for me, my fifth and final book for this episode would be The Son of the House. So I am always. You've read it now?
Yes.
Nenye, have you read it?
No, I haven't. I know you recommended it to me, but I haven't gotten around to reading it.
So it's one of those books that when you finally read it, you're like, why did I take so long to read this book? So it's about these 2 women, Wabolo and Julie, who were kidnapped and they were kept in an airless room. And while they were there, they sort of like tell the stories of their lives. Like they sort of like, so Julie is Wabulo's customer. Yeah, Wabulu is like a tailor. Wabulu reminds me so much of Wura from Vagabonds. So while they were there, they sort of like tell the stories of their life, and the story, Jesus, it's it's very well done. So the book starts first with Wabulo's part, and then it stops, and then it moves over to Julie's part. But the things that happen to Wabulo, and it's based in Enugu, and yeah, I think it's based in Enugu, largely in Enugu. So I don't want to give much spoilers, but just know that their lives are connected in a way that is that is in a way that is indestructible.
Well,
That's how their lives are connected, and it's
all right.
such a well done book. Yeah. So what about you? What would be the last book from your list?
Okay, from mine, the last book on my list. I'm thinking. I have two. I think I
Mm,
have two.
okay.
Am
Let's
I
hear it.
able to
Yes,
do that?
let's hear it.
Okay. So the first one is A Little Life by
All of us, we need to enter our group like this and then, cheese, let's take a
the
picture,
first one is
cheese.
the first one is A Little Life, and the second one is Normal People by Sally Rooney.
Ooh,
Me, I'm a
ooh.
Sally Rooney fangirl, so I don't even want to know
Ah,
what anybody.
She's another
I don't
person
want
that
to
is very
hear.
controversial.
I
She,
love Sally Rooney. I don't even care what anybody says. Like she's one of my favorite white woman writers. And here's the reason why I like Sally Rooney. Like in general, before I talk about why Normal People is like, because that's my Normal People is my favorite Sally Rooney. The reason why I like her is because I think she gets millennials. Like she gets the way, like she gets us writing because that's her character. She writes what she knows. She's a millennial, and all of her characters are mostly like millennials. She understands all of the paradox of choice, all of the yearning, all of the existential crises, all of the
Mhm.
like work stress, trying to maintain relationships, trying to maintain friendships, like all of the heartbreak. Like she just gets it, and it is very, very entrenched in the way that she writes her books. So, and I respect
Yeah.
it. I like
And
it.
I've read Normal People. I've read
Beautiful World, Where Are You?
no, not
Or
Beautiful World, where
Conversation with Friends.
yes, Conversations with Friends. And I think she does that thing where she writes characters that are also imperfect as well. So
Yes.
she writes these
Yes.
characters, their
Yes.
choices, without trying to interpret it for you. It's open to you to know, is this person a bad person? Do you like this person? Are they a good person? Yeah, it's up
Mm.
to you. But these are their choices. So,
And she also
but
writes epistolary format, like the way she incorporates text, diary entries, letters,
yes,
text messages. I really like it. So the distinct thing about all these authors and books that I've mentioned is away from the plot and away from the story. These are writers that have cemented, or even if their books are like debut books, they have picked a style and their style is working for, like the style is entirely theirs. And that is
yes,
something that's like admirable for me, like as somebody that reads and as somebody that writes, like I respect that very much. So
yeah.
I like that about her. Why I like Normal People is because Normal People is just, it's just so, all of the yearning, all of the angst, all of the, even the unspoken, because there are so many unspoken things. Like she implies so many things in the book.
Yeah.
In what's her name, the name of the female protagonist, her relationship with her family, she doesn't go in there, but she implies a lot, like all those techniques. I really like those things. I really like that book, and the book has been adapted into film, and once you do a good adaptation of my favorite book, there's nothing you can tell me. If they
I
adapt Open
saw
Water today, I'm sorry for you people. You can't,
I saw
not, there's nothing you can tell me. Nothing.
that
Nothing.
they adapted it, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it. It was
It is
so
so
precious
good.
to me. It was so precious to me how I read it. So I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch it.
Let me now bust your brain. I watched the series. I first of all came across Irony as an author because of I watched the limited series. I watched Normal People, and then I went to look for it to read it. Then I read it and I decided to read all of our other books. It is that good. It is that good. It was adapted so well. And anytime a book is adapted into screenplay and it comes off so well on screen, I know that like it's just a testament to the price of the author. See Celeste Ng too with Big Little Lies. If you can watch Big Little Lies adapted to screen, and that's how so many people also encountered like the author and her writing, even though she's been writing for a while. When you see that a book is seamlessly, like, I'm pretty sure it was a lot of work, but like it translates to screen so well, I'm willing to bet good money that the actual prose will be very good. I'm just willing to bet good money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But
then with Little Life.
I'm sorry. I don't think we're ever going to get a series of A Little Life. Like I know there's a play in the UK. I think there's a play going on now for A Little Life. But I wish
there's a play.
Yeah. No. I don't want adaptation. I don't want limited series. No.
I think I was not to read that book again. Like the urge. I don't have a view like that. The urge to reread A Little Life. Like I
have the urge, but I don't think I'll do it. It will kill me if I read it. I don't think I can ever stomach it.
The book was just so good.
It was too good. I you know when you cry so much that you know now, you read it now. I cried so much. I was sick.
All of us.
I was sick after. Like I was sick after I read it because I couldn't even bring myself to read something else. The brilliance, the story. I'll just be on my own. I'll be like, oh, Jude. and another book I felt that for, but I didn't mention because it's still pretty new and there's not a lot of talk about it, buzz around it yet on like book socials, is Small Joys. You need to read it. Okay, Uchenna has read it. Small Joys felt like, so it's not exactly as heightened as A Little Life, but oh my goodness,
I loved.
Did you listen to the audio?
Yeah, I listened to the audio. I love how the friendship, like the things, the way the author touched on mental health issues, and everything was just so.
I cried my eyes out. I cried. But I didn't want it to end. And that's how crazy it was. I've recommended that book to almost everybody I know. Somebody still read it yesterday and told me that they like, no. I love that book. So A Little Life, like, if they like say it is,
I'll tell you to convince it is Nnaemeka to read it.
They say it is sadness porn or whatever. I don't care. Write your own. Trauma hand. Thank you. The word skip my mind. Write your own. I don't even care.
A Little Life was properly done. When you finish reading it and you hold the book in your hand, you will see that you just read decades and decades of friendship, decades of someone's life in a way that is both zoomed in and zoomed out. Do you get? Like, no, there's no, I will always defend A Little Life. My issue with it is that when you recommend it to people, they're like, oh, the size is too much. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And reading it alone can be quite traumatic.
So you know, the funny thing is, even though we read it together, we also read it alone because we were reading it at, I don't know if people understand how I mean. We were all at different points in the reading journey as we were reading it, experiencing different things at the same. And it helped though, because when I'm crying, hopefully Uchenna has passed the part when the crying is too heavy. He will tell me, sorry, don't worry, keep going. When he's crying. When we read that book, I thought I was going to die. After I finished it, I couldn't read anything else. I was in limbo for like 2 weeks. That's a good book. That's a great book. That's a great book.
And I went to read a lot of interviews. I think you sent me one of her interviews as well. I went to I was like, I need to understand what is this story based on? What inspired this story? Because there's a lot of lives.
Same.
Watching it at the play might be. I don't see a lot of plays, especially I've not seen a lot of plays. I think in Nigeria I've only seen like 2 or 3 that are properly done, but I like to imagine they would do justice to it.
I'm just realizing now that almost all the books I read and I love can work on this list. I don't even need to wait for like a controversy or like there should be some big discourse around why the book is not worth all of the hype. All the books I've read and I loved before I let go Kennedy Ryan, like all of the books I've read and loved can work on this list. Like too many.
Yeah. So Uche, I think we are supposed to get one more from you.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is really, really hard. I would not. I would not want to say. No, I want just little life. I want. Which book? Okay, I think Easy Motion Tourist by Leye.
Oh,
But
the
yeah, by
Amaka
Leye.
series.
It's a yes, the Amaka thriller series like that. It has book 1, 2, 3. Now, have you read this book?
Nope.
So I think I don't know. See, that
Tell us
book
what
was
the book is about.
it was okay. I don't want to give spoilers, right? But
Can
the
give some
book is a
spoilers.
story
People
that
that
is
will
set in
let
like
us.
contemporary Lagos. So the book is set around like it's set in contemporary Lagos that revolves around the female protagonist. She's a lawyer who works with a charity to protect female sex workers whom are vulnerable to all these ritualists and killers and all those stuffs like that. So now the plot twist in this book was that it wasn't just with the main characters, it was both like it draws both the police, the thugs, the criminals, the rich men, everything like I don't but it was nice. I enjoyed it was a 5-star read for me. And I think I read the book in 2021 I read this book. Mm, yeah, 2021. And through the book, I was able to see the beautiful and ugly side of Lagos. Like everything, it was so realistic.
What what
And
what
it
point of
reminded me
view did
how
what point of view did the book take? Like, was it told from Amaka's perspective, or was it told from like a general perspective? I want to understand that. Like, was it Amaka that was
okay,
telling the
so
story?
was it Amaka? No, no, it was not Amaka that was telling the story.
Okay.
It was not Amaka that was telling the story. Yeah, I remember it was not Amaka. Which
Mm.
point of view was that? I can't remember exactly the point of view that the book was told in, but the book was the the way the author one thing I took away was that the way the author portrays the sex workers in a very different kind of way. Like he made me had a different picture whenever someone's talking about sex workers or like what they do. That was how I liked. Will I say liked? I will love this book. It was like a mixed feelings. It was I laughed, I was angry, I was scared. Like it was different emotions, and I get like I don't really see this book much. Like I've not really seen it around Bookstagram that much. But it's one book that I really do wish people would read.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
think I'm going to get I think it's published by Cassava, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah. I think
covered.
I'm going to try it out because I've not read any book by Leye, but I know he's good. He also wrote Children of Quicksand, right?
You have plenty things.
Was
You
no no
have
no no
plenty. Your list will
no
see you
no no
through.
no no, not Children. There's another book that he wrote that has a beautiful title. That is published by Uda. It has a nice cover too.
Um, um,
Which one?
um,
An unusual grief.
the beautiful side of the moon.
Yes,
No, not
Oh,
unusual
yes.
grief.
sorry.
The
Imagine
beautiful side of the moon.
I was mixing it up.
Yeah, because unusual grief is a different.
Yes, I was mixing it up. Sorry.
Yeah, he was the one that wrote that in the beautiful side of the moon.
Yeah, I like
I've
the
not even read that one.
title. I like
And looking at me, the book.
So what are you guys currently reading? Okay,
The
what
book
are
is
you
on my
currently
shelf.
reading?
Okay, so I'm currently reading.
Network.
I'm reading 3 books.
Okay.
I'm reading. I've said. The
Now
one
you
with go away. I'm body reading. A Spell of Good Things with Steph. I'm reading. Oh no, I don't. I finished Queen Move yesterday night. I finished Queen Move, but I'm about to start Red, White, and the one that
Royal
has the
Blue.
movie on Prime. Yeah, so that because I want to watch it, but I want to read it before I watch it. And then I'm listening to one African American romance, Goals or something. It's like it's supposed to be a really short audiobook, but it's not really giving. But I'll finish it, Sha. I always like to have like an audiobook in rotation. So I'm listening to Go. And I'm also reading I'm reading Not to Fall, How to Feel at Flirting, but I kept it aside while I was finishing Queen Moon.
And I said, now you Biko.
How? It's just simple books now.
In
There's
your
no
reading era. I think it was April that I did that. April that I read, I think, up to a dozen books. But since then, it has not been two, three books. I think I'm currently reading. I'm starting Small World today. Yeah.
starting today. Then I am also trying to see if I can start. What's the name of this book called? Pachinko as well.
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I feel like I
That's a
want to
really
do.
good one.
You're not a pachinko.
I just read Pachinko this year too. It
Yeah.
was really good. Oh, it was really
So I feel like
good.
I want to experience those two books. So they're just like these two books,
I did that book. I was thinking, should I put that one? But
Yeah. And I also want
But people
to.
generally like Pachinko now.
I'm also reading. I'm also reading Emmanuel Iduma's "I Am Still with You." So, but the book is very. I want to say very heavy or very serious, because it's non-fiction and it's very well written. But the subject matter, I find the subject matter very difficult to read about, about Biafra, and it also has things about NSAS as well.
yeah.
So I'm
What
sort of
book
like
is that? Sorry, I did not get that.
NSAS. It's about NSAS. It has NSAS. It has Biafra. That's how far I've gone anyway. That's Emmanuel Iduma's "I Am Still with You." One that has a red cover.
Oh yes, I want to read that too. But I thought it was non-fiction. It's non-fiction now.
It's
Mm.
non-fiction. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
it's
it's non-fiction.
non-fiction.
I didn't even know.
I'm taking
I
my
started the
time
book
with
before
it.
I discovered that it was non-fiction.
A lot of people think it's fiction, but it's not fiction. It's not fiction, but I love how the book is written and how Emmanuel mentions Ayobami in the book. Is like,
They are
it's
married.
yeah, it's even it's so beautiful to read.
Even literary power couple.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So yeah, Uche, what about you? What are you currently reading?
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
So this week in general, I had like a very good reading this week in general. Yeah. So this week I finished I finished Ace of Spades, Cleopatra and Frankincense, and Birthday. I finished Love in
That's
Color.
nice. That's the fave.
And I am currently reading so I'm reading Against the Loveless Word. I'm reading The Furrows, but that book I don't know is not it's not attention gripping.
The the furrows is The Furrows is Namwali Sapel. I think it's Namwali Sapel. Oh, did you read her?
Also,
I didn't. But I
Okay.
hear it's good. I know what's her name? Book of Sins posted about it.
I have the old drift. I have the book.
The Old Drift
I
it
have
was
the
very
book here, but
difficult.
I've not read it too.
I couldn't get into the Old Drift. So there was a book club that I was a part of last year, and we were supposed to read the Old Drifts. But there's a lot of names to memorize, a lot of places to memorize. So at some point I was just like, okay, maybe later in the future. But I read her I've read her essays, I've read her short story as
Have
well. I think
you read Chintu?
Yes, I
Have you read
have.
Chintu?
Yeah.
Jennifer. No, I've
So
not.
oh, okay. So, but if you said I don't know if you're able to read Chintu, you might be able to read the Old Drifts. Although you have not read the Old Drifts,
Mm,
but a lot of it's historical fiction. There's a lot of names and this thing, but it was still interesting. Sure.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm also reading what is this book? The Late Americans,
The Late Americans.
the fiction book that I started this week. Everything is figurative.
Hmm. I've not heard about these books.
I'm I'm also reading that Emmanuel Dumas book.
Oh, okay.
The I Still With You. Oh no, I beg. You see this
Look at the
currently
person that's
reading.
telling me now me
The
Biko.
Lord
You
is
see
See
the
somebody
serious.
like
person.
telling you that you they read.
He's reading
But
like
it's people that
7
is reading
books.
10 books.
And I'm even reading romances. He's reading like 7 literary fiction and 1 non-fiction. You're supposed to add 2 research papers to it so that it will be complete.
So that to be complete. Hey. Good.
My God.
All right. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for doing this. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been so good. So all the books that we talked about or we mentioned in this episode will be linked in the description of this episode so that our listeners can easily get them from our website or order them from our Instagram and everywhere else. So yeah, thank you guys for doing this.
This was fun. This was so much fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.